welcome back to my podcast. So today in studio we have our guest, Doria, David Doria technically, but he's a friend. And he's a Filipino-American filmmaker from Vallejo, and he is currently in production for his senior thesis film, Litchfield Court. So we're going to have him in the hot seat. We're going to talk to him, get to know a little bit more about his process, his influences as an artist, and we're going to learn how we can support his feature. So, of course, at the end of the show, we'll have some information for how you can support, but let's bring him to the stage.
Hello.
Hey, Doria. Long time no see.
Long time no see.
Welcome to the show.
Great.
So, as you know, you're here for our podcast, Pink Theory. And, you have like some interesting things going on in your life. So I figured it'd be awesome to kind of get to know a little bit more formally about what you're doing. And you can share with our audience a little bit about your journey.
Okay.
But because, we got to switch it up and be a little different, be a little fun, we are going to ask our questions in a very interactive way. So that's what you see here. So we have... I don't know what you call these things, like some kind of little
like
ball output.
Lottery ball.
Yeah, like a thing.
Something like that.
Yeah, so if the ball that comes out of there is even, we're going to ask a certain set of questions.
Right, okay.
And if the ball that comes out of there is odd, it'll be a different set of questions.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I like that, yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, so as you heard, Doria's a friend. He actually works with us on a couple of our other projects. And I thought, why not start with someone I know? Pink Theory is a new podcast, and Doria's got some really interesting stuff. All of the people on our set and as part of our crew are extremely interesting, and I think it would be awesome for you guys to get to know them and what they're doing while you get to understand us in the process. So let's get started.
For sure.
All right. So Doria, tell us a little bit about yourself.
About me. My name's David Doria. I'm a Filipino-American Bay Area native. Born and raised in Vallejo, California. 1994 is the year I was born in. Yeah, that's mainly me. I'm just a guy from the Bay Area, POC, person of color. So, creative, actually, filmmaker. Trying to make a movie right now, actually.
All right.
So,
yeah, we have some questions about that.
Great.
All right, so let's get into this. So I'll have you go ahead and pick your fate.
Okay.
So you're gonna go ahead and
roll
kind of
it
get this way.
This way. Okay.
All right. Even. Yeah. All right.
Okay, cool.
So why is the Bay Area, more specifically Vallejo, so important to you?
Being born and raised in the Bay, I didn't, realize it when I was a kid about the environment that I was growing up in. Because, when you're a kid, you don't realize anything. Most of the time you hate where you're from, or you talk down on things that you're so used to and the things that you have already. And so growing up, I realized it's really important where I come from, because especially now in this digital age that we're in, we get so much information given to us easily, fast paced. This internet stuff is just all over the place, and we see things that are happening outside of home. And for where I'm from, I would say that I'm lucky, because I didn't really experience any injustices that happen outside of Vallejo, or even in Vallejo sometimes. Mainly because, when I was a kid, I was kind of sheltered from my parents. My own siblings, they were kind of the wild ones, while I was the reserved one, doing all my homework and all that stuff. Vallejo in the Bay Area has this culture that is, to me, at least from where I've been in different places, I've been to Hawaii, New York, Southern California. I haven't really been in too many places in America, but from what I've seen and experienced myself, there's not have been any culture like the Bay Area. And being there has this sort of feeling that you're a part of something, that no matter where I go, somebody's going to accept me for who I am. And I know I'm not that big of a stretch, but I am a Filipino American. And me being Filipino American is still a little unknown to some people, A lot of different ethnicities wouldn't even know what a Filipino is. Us Filipinos, we're even so confused on what we are. Like, are we Asian? Are we Pacific Islanders? What are we? You know, we always question ourselves, and that's sort of it. You know, when I was like growing up, I've had this like weird sense of identity because I never really knew who I was. Because I grew up in an environment that's predominantly African American, and my own family were Filipino Americans, but then my siblings and cousins, they would be acting, let's say, the best way to say it is urban, and the way that people would act would be like that. And so I knew for myself, like when my mom would watch Filipino American dramas on TV and stuff like that, this is how we are seen in the Philippines, or even outside of the Philippines, for people who think they know us, trying to speak Tagalog in front of our faces. Tagalog is the main Filipino language in the Philippines, and like they think they know us, but there's actually a lot more to us than that. And that's why, like in general, I know like I kind of drew away from the original question, but
That's all good.
that's why the Bay Area has been such like a big part of me.
Yeah.
Because the culture accepted me, and I was able to find an identity within that culture.
Okay.
And you know, especially where you're from, and I know a lot of people who cannot say the same thing about their own places where they're from, and I'm lucky to have that, to be very honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd your family get to Vallejo?
Well, actually, my dad's from the Philippines. My mom was born in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Her father was in the Navy. So first, she was born in Oregon. She's not the eldest. My auntie's the eldest, but she's the second born. She was born in Oregon, and then because my grandfather was in the Navy, they moved to the Philippines, you know, do some naval work over there. Then I had some other aunties and uncles that were born in the Philippines, but on a military base. So they're all American citizens. So on my mother's side, I am a second generation Filipino American. But on my dad's side, I'm a first generation Filipino American. So my mom, going back to my mom, they ended up moving back to or not back to California, but back to America in Southern California. And eventually they moved onto Mare Island, or Vallejo, because the Mare Island shipyard in Vallejo was a very big naval base back in the day, like a long time ago. And so basically my mom grew up American most of the time. She was in the Philippines for a good amount of her life, but not like, she wasn't completely raised in the Philippines. She was mainly raised in California or Oregon.
Okay.
So that's how they ended up in Vallejo, because of my grandfather.
Okay.
He was in the Navy. And so my mom herself, she especially like the whole like Galicia family, that's my mom's maiden name. They kind of had their own like mark in Vallejo. See, my mom herself, when she was in high school, she went to Vallejo High, and she was the first Filipino American homecoming queen. And that's actually a big deal when you think about it, knowing that it was at that time. And Vallejo still had a bunch of white people, and so at that time, knowing that my mom like won something like that, especially like back in the day, that's pretty big. You know, my mom is a very beautiful woman. You know, I really look up to her, and knowing that she's actually knowing what she's went through, just in general, it's been very inspiring for myself.
Yeah.
To like do what I'm doing today. Okay. So that's like my mom's story. My dad just ended up meeting my mom when he moved to America, so that was kind of the thing.
So your grandparents moved to Vallejo, and then it just kind of stuck, right?
Kind of just stuck. And we have our own like mark there. I mean, like not a lot of people really know, but we do have a lot of history that a lot of us know. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit more about growing up in Vallejo. So you touched on it a little bit earlier, but like what was it like being Filipino American growing up in Vallejo?
It was really different. Like when I was a kid, I said I was sheltered for a good second. For a good second of my life, I was sheltered, at least like when I was like a baby to when I was like 10 years old. Even in middle school, I was like still pretty sheltered. Mainly because, as I said, my own siblings, they were basically the wild ones. My sister, my eldest, my mom's eldest, she was in an all-female gang when she was a teenager. She would run away from home. The cops would go get her, things like that. And my brother, you know, he was kind of like in a gang too, in their own little thing where they like jump people in so that they can be a part of their crew. Things like that. And like my the brother that I live with right now, he himself was just a mischievous child, you know. Honestly, they're way older than me. Like the brother that I live with right now, the one that I was just talking about, is 9 years apart from me. So with that being said, my mom kind of like see me as like a new slate, I would say. I don't want to say she wanted me to have less freedom, but she just didn't want me to, I guess, not screw up. I don't want to say screw up my life because they didn't. My siblings did not screw up their lives. Like they're like living a really great life now. Like at least they're doing as best as they could, and I'm proud of them for what they're doing.
All right, Doria. So we got some pizza.
I like pizza.
I figure we could, dine and converse.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about what you got going on.
Yeah.
But also maybe turn this into a lightweight mukbang.
Yeah.
All right. So bust it open.
Heck yeah. Let's do this. Ooh. Now that's a strong aroma.
Yeah.
Right.
Indian pizza.
Indian pizza? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Which piece do you want?
Hey, they're all the same, right?
Kind of. Oh, yeah, they are.
It is vegetarian, though.
And I like vegetarian food, too. Here you go.
Cool. All right. Nice. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Okay. This is cool. When I was growing up, I was usually sheltered until, like, I got into high school. When I was in high school, my parents, they weren't as strict on me as they were. Mm-hmm. And they let me do whatever I want. Mm. And this is when I actually, like, dove into doing different things. Drinking, smoking weed, things like that, In high school, a lot of people, like, just do that, just experimenting. And it's funny, like, the place that I, like, got that kind of exposure was in marching band. And people got this... Yeah, exactly, right? You have this misconception that marching band is filled with nerds and people who play card games and stuff like that, right?
Well, I did hear about band camp this one time.
One time at band camp, people talk about that all the time. Sometimes there's that little like thing in Mean Girls that called the band geeks, the sexually active band geeks or something like that. And I thought that was like hilarious because like it kind of is. And so yeah, people have this weird misconception of band to be filled with geeks. And I feel like geek is kind of like a taboo word nowadays, but
really?
Not really, because like who really is a geek? Who really is a nerd? It kind of just became.
It's like cool. It's like you can live your life now.
Exactly. Like lately, I don't know how it is in high school anymore. Because
right.
It's been years. I'm like turning 24 in like a month or two, and I mean, it was band that got me into that whole experimental phase, and it's when I realized through band, there's actually a lot of Filipino like people in band, and we were literally regarded almost as high as like the jocks of the school because we were actually winning stuff. People knew who we were. We hung out with a lot of people, but at the same time, it was like a little different because we were still considered band geeks, quote unquote, and not a lot of people really knew what happened in band. So
are you saying that music really influenced you?
Yeah, honestly, it did. It was being in this group, talking about being a part of a community and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It was music and these people and me like learning more about how music works and how these people work and how people in general can come together through music. Mm-hmm. It was mainly that that really made me like love where I was. I really loved my high school. Like a lot of people complain about high school. I got nothing to complain about. I had a good time. Maybe I should have done better in high school, but I was just a lazy kid. I know I'm smart, like to be honest, but I was really lazy. Really, like we're all just being put into this one spot, and we're forced to learn all these things that we kind of don't really want to learn about, and like we're kind of treated like we are being held captive. Like we can't leave. If we leave, the police will get us. Something like that. Okay. So it's like, okay, education system, I'll just do whatever I want because you guys are basically not letting me control my own life.
It's like a little confusing though, because it's like you had nothing to complain about in high school.
Except for being in high school. Except for let's say
being forced to be in school.
That's basically it. Like the logistics of high school is the only thing I will complain about high school, but not like the people, not like what I actually did learn, like in band or something like that. It was just like the concept of school from elementary to high school in America is just weird to me. So.
Yeah. It's time for us to roll another ball.
Oh, for sure. Should I do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's this way?
Yeah, towards you.
I keep forgetting. Oh. There we go.
Another even. All right. So, if you're all about Vallejo, why Sac? Why now? Like, Vallejo is such a thing, right? So like, why are you here?
Mainly because it's cheaper out here. Everybody got problems. You know, money is always the biggest problem most of the time. And yeah, I'm a Filipino American. My parents both got jobs, and they're together. And you know, we do got a good amount of money, but we don't got all the money that we can.
Right.
I'm over here living for free with my brother, mainly because my brother really wants to do good for me, and he knows that I can do what I can do, and he wants me to move on to my life.
So did your brother move out here for you, or did you move out here with him? Oh, okay.
He was already here, and he like invited me to take to stay in his girlfriend's place, and so I've been here for about 2 years. I chose Sacramento because it was the cheaper thing to do. I mean, yeah, I could have stayed in Vallejo and went and commuted to the city, but who really wants to commute? I literally live down the street from my school right now, and I don't. Although I'm not paying for like living with my brother, there are things that I do pay for, like the monthly bills for the school, my food, the thing just to live, my own social life, things like that, like my own like toiletries, stuff like that. I have nothing against Sacramento, but I do love the Bay, and I don't want to say there's no culture here, but it's really hard to find where the culture resides here, because it's very inspired by a different links of Northern California. We got the north side of California, like the tippy top, and then you got the Bay Area underneath Sacramento, and so it's like here, it's like, I understand why it's hard for people to find their identity here, especially because it's like, what am I? A lot here. Like there's a lot of what am I's here. But it's been growing.
And I think that's really what it boils down to. Sac is growing, right? So Sacramento, is a farming community for the longest time.
Right.
So the economy wasn't as developed as it is in the Bay Area. So you have to have...
we're all checking in the Bay and stuff
exactly.
like that.
So you have to have some allowances for like, for room to develop and, in order for a city to really define itself. And I think that like Sacramento really is coming up now with its food and art culture. It's really starting to like pop off, and there's far more to do now than when I was a kid growing up here.
Yeah,
so
I see.
Sacramento for sure was like, I would sleep on it for sure back then, but like now it's actually like cool. People are coming here like
to be honest, it's like really growing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I know, like as of now, I was actually talking to Yoshi about this. Like, it's easy to say like this dude's from the Bay. You know what I'm trying to say? Like this guy's from the Bay. The way he acts, the way he dresses, the way he is, he's totally from the Bay. You know, but you wouldn't easily be able to be like, oh, that's hella Sacramento. Oh, that's hella Sac. He's dressing up like Sac. He looks like Sac. He's acting like Sac. He talks like Sac. It's not as easy to pinpoint that.
Well, maybe that's what like Sac is. Maybe Sac isn't like pigeonholed into like a certain aesthetic or something.
Right. It's possible.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, that's not really a conversation I have with like a lot of people, like about like, if someone looks like they're from somewhere other than like, I think when we think about like LA or whatever, because I feel like LA has a certain like aesthetic because of all the, exactly. Right. So I feel like it's kind of easy to be like, they're LA. But if they fit that one aesthetic, which is like some person that looks like they would be in Hollywood, but like I have friends in LA and I can't even think like, I don't know that I would be like, oh, they look like they're from LA. Because they don't fit that blonde hair, like actress, like whatever.
Right.
I think when I was growing up, everyone was like definitely like trying to like bolt on to the Bay. Like we're not far from the Bay. Like, we're NorCal, like, yeah, near the Bay.
I still see people say stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, but I think it's far less. And I mean, like, I think that Sacramento is really starting to like develop its own vibe. And I don't think it's as frequent. I mean, we run in different circles. So obviously like you might come across people who would say that. But like the people that I know, like they wouldn't say that. So I mean, I guess it just depends on who you talk to, but I do feel like Sac like culture is a little like, I think now in this time especially, Sac's really trying to separate itself from like being not associated with the Bay, but I mean just like as in lumped in with the Bay. I remember like when I was in college, like people for sure like would be like, oh, where's Sac? And you would say, oh, near San Francisco. And I don't feel like people have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like people have to say, like, we're near San Francisco, because I think people know where we are now. But two, I also think that, you know, if people had to say, oh, yeah, we're near San Francisco, they would say it just for reference. But I don't think that they would try to, like,
associate it with,
like, jack the style and, like, you know, like, perpetrate as, like, it's an extension of the Bay Area. Because I think people are comfortable and becoming increasingly comfortable in settling in the vibe that Sacramento is cultivating. And I really do feel like food centric. I really feel like we're starting to develop like an art scene here.
I see that for sure.
Geographically, it's large, but populace wise, it's smaller. And all the benefits that come with that, being relative affordability. Yeah. And I think people in Sac are like realizing like they have like something of value. Like people from the Bay Area can't afford to be Bay Areans, right? So now what? You know, you're coming to Sac. And yeah, you're bringing culture with you from Bay, but equally, you know, you're having to like take on our culture too. I mean, it won't work for you to just be Bay Area and Sacramento. Like,
yeah, no, totally.
You know, you gotta like, you know,
I still gotta relate.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyways, I mean, I feel like what I've seen of Sacramento, especially like I moved away and I came back, and of the vibe that like I'm seeing, I feel like people are proud to be like from Sacramento, and I feel like people, because they're proud to be here, are really invested in defining what Sacramento is as its own unique identity.
I see.
So I was wondering, like, you know, what brought you to Sacramento? And you said that you came here because of school. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Okay.
Like, so you're going to
the Art Institute of California.
For what?
I'm going there for digital filmmaking and video production.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Why? Like, why did you choose that? Like, you talked about like music and how like you were in like band and everything in high school, and it sounded like it really was like
the thing,
influencing
like
you.
Music, right?
So how did you switch like to film?
It's funny because I actually have a lot of friends who are like, "Oh, you're going into the Art Institute for music," and I'm like, "No, I'm going there for film." So a lot of people are just like, "Oh, really?" So like, I've always been into film, like films, movies. Mainly because like I'm a storyteller. I like telling stories. In general, it's like one of my like careers that I would love to get into is being a teacher, because I like helping people.
Oh, really?
I like helping people, understand things. And I feel like through movies, it helps people understand things a little bit more. Why something is happening or why you feel a certain way. Because it shows that through these characters, this person could be just like you or something like that, you know? And so I've always loved writing. I always loved telling stories. I'm a poet. I've written like lyrics to music that I've never finished because I'm not good at ending things. And eventually, like, I've been wanting to write a story, like a novel, or make these videos telling a certain story about this or that. And I've always found videos or film to be I don't want to say easiest way, but like one of the best ways for me to portray what's going in my head to show other people.
That's really relatable.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to watch something, you know.
Exactly.
Because you're getting like, you're hitting like all of the different like mediums, right? Like obviously you're like, and a lot more of your senses are engaged too. I mean, you're still like
sound, you know, like
visual
audio.
You're still getting it in the feels, you know, if it's told right. So that's cool. I mean, like, I'm down. Like, so you decided you wanted to like do something different. Obviously, that shocked people. People were thinking that you would go for music.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I just found it hilarious that it shocked people because in my head, it felt like something that I would do. Everybody saw me as the guy that sings. Like, I wasn't the guy that sings really good, but I was just that guy that always
singing.
Yeah, like
I
no
noticed.
matter what. It's just like, I don't know. It's like a part of my character because like I love music. And like whenever I do think of my, you know, the films that I work on, the first thing I think of is like what song would be great with this scene. You know, that's literally what I think of. And so I guess it's how like I've always loved music videos. You know, that's like the thing that I was always into. You know, Michael Jackson stuff was always something that I was really into. I love the Moonwalker short film that he was in with the Smooth Criminal, that one, and like I thought that was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
And the Thriller short film.
The Thriller short film, of course, you know, that's very iconic for everybody of all ages, you know. So
that's when like MTV played music.
Yeah, that's when MTV played music. Man.
Instead of like 16-year-olds having babies and shit.
Right.
Hey guys, I want to tell you to check out my newest video on my vlog channel, Please Excuse My Brilliance. I post new videos once a week on Fridays. We experience a lot of cool shiz, which I can't wait to share with you. So be sure to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, and pop on over to Please Excuse My Brilliance. And don't forget to rinse and repeat. Catch you on the flip side. Well, what's influencing you today though? So like, you talked about your childhood, you talked about like music, like, you know, coming up, like you were in band, and obviously you still carry music with you today.
Yeah.
But like, what's influencing you now? So like, still certain like kinds of movies? Are you like something about the culture, music? Like, you know, just talk about like what's, you know, what's giving you inspo.
It's basically that, all of that. You know, we got these mainly, let's say, creatives out there in this world who are trying to make a mark mainly because they want to be able to do what I'm doing, to be able to bring their mind, put it on a platform, and show it, you know, so that people can possibly relate to it. And it's that. I come from a place, you know, where you wouldn't expect quote unquote greatness to come from.
What does that mean?
Like Vallejo, California. Who knows Vallejo, California? I know Vallejo, California. Some people may know about Vallejo, California, but literally, it's literally just a small city by the bay. And who knows people that really came from Vallejo? The main person that some people may know is E40. Lately, SOBRBE has been coming up. People don't even know Mac Dre. And Mac Dre is one of the legends of Vallejo, California. And he has some of the best rapping music I've ever heard, to be honest. And for me, you know, coming from a place like that, where a lot of people don't know anything about, if a guy like me can make a movie that, or like a movie or anything, just create something. Somebody like me, coming from Vallejo, make something that people could understand and feel that they can actually like relate to, and it would be like acclaimed in a certain way. If somebody like me can do that, then other people can be able to do that, no matter where you're from.
So is that what Litchfield Court is about?
Basically, my film Litchfield Court, it's like that, you know.
Is that like a street you grew up on, or like what was it?
It's Litchfield Court is the street where my grandparents' house was on, and you know, over time we lost the house after they passed away, and so I decided to make a film based off the experiences that I grew up to by you know changing, you know, making the story a little bit more dramatic than usual, but like still like having the heart of everything. And you know, that's why, like, that's what inspires me, is the fact that like there's people out there that have that kind of story and that needs to be told.
Okay.
And if I can tell it, then you could go ahead and do it yourself. Right. You know, I'm not the only one that got a story like this. There's a bunch of stories out there that can be told.
Right.
And I know people tend to stray away from their creativity, and that's what makes me sad. You know, there's some talented people out there. And that's the same thing how I feel. Like, there's a bunch of Filipinos that I know that can sing. I know we were talking about this before. Yeah, we know, like, a bunch of Filipinos that can, like, sing, or maybe even, like, act, or even, like, write.
Dance.
But, you know, dance. A lot of them actually dance really good. And the thing is, like, they don't do it because they're afraid. They don't feel like they're going to be, like, listened to. And mainly that stems from the fact that our parents... I got lucky because my parents were strict. They wanted me to do this or they wanted me to do that. But generally, it is the Asian stereotype is that our parents want us to do something in the medical field or be an engineer, something that's very mathematical, or you know, just something like that. And I didn't want to do that because that's not me. I didn't want to be something that I'm not. I literally, that's a line in my film about I didn't want to be like any of those other fucking Filipinos that's like a nurse or something like that. Literally, like that's a line because it's the truth.
Right.
I wanted to be me. I want to be me. Let me be me, and I want to show others that they can be them too. Yeah. Go ahead and be you. Like, things will come. Right. You know, you'll still be able to find happiness as long as you just keep on keeping on. That's like a thing that Joe Dirt said. I don't know if you ever seen Joe Dirt, but he just says, keep on keeping on, you know? Right. It's a part of the life. You just got to keep on moving. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to stunt myself, you know? Don't stunt your own growth. Right. Don't do that. It's all about pushing. getting higher than what you are, what society says that this is your ceiling, but there is no ceiling. The ceiling does not exist.
Right.
You got to keep on pushing yourself to go higher.
Hella motivational right now.
I mean, that's just like, that's what's going in my head all the time. But at the same time, I still get thoughts where I'm just like, you're a piece of shit. It's like, it's the truth though. Like, it's really hard to kind of keep up this like feeling that I got right now.
Right.
But I know deep down inside that this is who I am. That I'm positive. I want to keep on moving. I want to help others. I want to bring people along the way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be the person that they're looking up to. I'm the person that they're sitting next to, you know, on the car ride, you know, like that's what I want to be.
That's cool.
And that's what inspires me. You know, I want to inspire the uninspired, you know, so let it be known, you know, I want to let it be known.
All right. So let's talk a little bit more about Litchfield. So is this your first movie or?
No, I've made 3 things before this film that I've been like really, really proud of. The first thing that I worked on was this like really, really short film called Sticks and Stones, which is like, to summarize it, is about 2 girls who kill this guy and they try to bring his body to away from their place where they killed him to destroy it, to destroy the evidence. Wow. Yeah, it's like, it's very like
dark.
It's pretty dark. There's hardly any lines. There's like 3 lines in the entire film. Oh wow. Yeah, and it's all just being told through the shots. And so that was the first thing I worked on. I really liked working on it. I got a lot of good help from, you know, people that I'm still like with today. And I wouldn't have been able to make that without the help. You know, honestly, like filmmaking is a very communal thing. Like you need more than yourself. Well, you can do it by yourself, but it's going to be very stressful, you know. Right. And
it's really hard.
It's really difficult. But
and I think some things you just can't, depending on like what you're trying to film.
Yeah, you know, things like, you know, Litchfield Court especially.
Like if you're trying to do a movie,
right?
You really need hands.
See, documentaries you can probably do by yourself. You know, you don't need too many like things. See, the next thing that I made after Sticks and Stones was a documentary on Vallejo that I actually featured myself in. I had my friend Justin, Corey, and Ryan Minor and me, the 3 main guys, about the 3 different like minds growing up in Vallejo. That I wanted to showcase in the documentary that I made. And it was pretty cool working on that. It was mainly me. I did have a few people to help me out when I had to be in front of the camera. I had my friend Marcus be like the camera guy, or my friend Kevin take some pictures and stuff like that. The next thing I worked on was Daytime. That was my last short film I did last year in like November.
At school?
We shot it, yeah. It was basically my junior thesis film. And right now it's my senior thesis film, Litchfield Court. Daytime was my junior thesis film. And so that was like, it was a film about Rose, who's this like very like creative musician, music artist, growing in her career, who meets a guy named Andre, and they kind of like spark this romance. But the thing about Rose is that she has this dark addiction, and she's addicted to blood. She's a vampire. Oh. And so like it's about their struggle with that addiction, like both from a provider and the person that's addicted. So it was this kind of story that like I kind of made up because I wanted to be able to tell a romance that dove deeper than what you usually see. You know, it's not just about 2 people who fall in love and like shit happens. You know, it was like 2 people fall in love, but there's addiction. You know, there's a side of addiction that, you know, people go through.
So he was like the enabler. And she didn't, or did she like turn him or something?
No, she never really turned him. He was just always there, and he was an enabler.
So he was like addicted to her, and she was.
That's basically it. Like she was his drug, and blood was hers. So.
All right, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That brings us to Litchfield, right?
Yeah, Litchfield Court. This is the big one. This is my senior thesis film. You know, I'm putting my all into it. I'm getting as much support as I can. You know, like from friends. You know, other artists. See, the shirt that I'm wearing right now, it says Lovers on it. Lovers Parlor. It's a brand that my friend Jordan does. He's actually making these exclusive shirts, you know, for the film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
Is it featured in the film?
Probably not, because the shirt has the sign, Litchfield Court, on it. It's like, why would somebody be wearing a Litchfield Court sign in a movie called Litchfield Court, you know? So it's mainly just for, like, you know, whoever donates to the film. It's like its own exclusive thing on our crowdfunding page. So, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So crowdfunding for For your film.
For my film,
Yeah.
we are actually trying to obtain as many donations as we can to actually fund this film.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that, like, films cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's more than just, like, going there and shooting, you know?
Yeah.
It's going there, making sure you got a good crew. The place is, like, you have a good permit for the place that you're shooting in, and you may be paid for the people to be there after hours, you know, and you have to have this equipment, and you might have to have a security guard just around, because you're shooting it at night in a very seedy part of a place called Vallejo, California. So it's possible that, like, things can really build up. You know, you gotta pay for your actors. You should pay for your actors. You should pay like most of the people on your crew, especially like this. Even though this is a micro budget film, even though it's a student film, we want to treat it as professional as we can.
Absolutely.
And so that's the idea. I'm not gonna just like. I'm gonna pay for the services that I'm, getting. I gotta make sure that everybody gets fed. I gotta make sure everybody's in their tip-top shape, and that they are getting something out of this. Not only just making a film that could possibly be get somewhere, or maybe just be tucked away in the internet for years to come.
Yeah.
And as long as I get, the great amount of like, not service, but like, help from these people, then they deserve something in return. And so, altogether, films, they cost a lot of money. I mean, look at these big budgeted Marvel films, like they're like $250, $300 million, right? And that's, even though that's a big budgeted film, like that's a lot of money, right? But like, let's say it's a smaller film. Things that are considered low budget is $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? So this is literally micro budget.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to raise about $10,000, $9,500 to be exact. But as of now, we only raised $1,435, I believe, and I have about 2.5 weeks to get at least $7,500.
Are you sweating?
Yeah, it's getting a little hot when it comes to trying to get the money for this.
Yeah.
And money is usually the problem. As I said, that's the reason why I moved out here, because money's a problem.
Right.
And like I understand, like people got their reasons why they can't donate, and that everybody got their own lives. And honestly, I'm not asking for too much. I'm not saying like, hey, give me $100. It's like, hey, if you give me $10, $20, and let the person, families that give me $20, that's good enough. If 300 people gave me $30, that's more than enough that I need. I was really, really excited to actually do this. I thought I was gonna get enough support, especially from the Filipino American community. And I guess it takes a lot more than just saying, hey, I'm making a film. If I actually was somebody, it'd be easier for me to be like getting money from people, but nobody knows who I am.
So, I mean, you've been with our team for like a couple months now, and like I'm starting to like really see like, what you're talking about in regards to like the passion and stuff. Like behind your like, this project, and like it means something for you, you're from Vallejo. Yeah. And you make sure everyone knows, Yeah,
I always do. I don't mean
cool.
to.
You're proud of where you came from, and that's cool. Like, you should be. Like, so, I mean, that's really cool. So, I'm starting to like really understand and like what's driving you to like make this film. You have this story that you want to tell. It's like you got family things. Like, obviously, like it's your city. You carry your city on your back. Like. So I'm starting to really like see that. So I would like to make a donation.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that'd be great.
Yeah. So I definitely want to make a donation towards your success.
Thank you.
And I know that you're gonna like achieve your I think you're gonna achieve your goal. So I think I know you're like concerned. You got like 2.5 weeks or whatever, but I feel like that little bit of anxiety that you have inside of you right now, because you only have like 2 weeks left in order to like make your goal, is what's going to drive you to be successful and get people to understand like why this is something that they should support, whether it's just $5, $10, $20, whatever they can do.
Yeah.
So I think that like this is the time, and
crunch time or something.
Yeah, you're coming up on like that kind of critical point where. But I think that you're going to get, like, like invigorated, and, like, your energy is going to, like, amp up, and you're going to like figure out how to, like, you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, anywho, but, I'm really looking forward to you making your goal. I believe that you will. I think that in this last couple of weeks, you'll figure out, like, what you need to do in order to make it. But I do want to be a part of that, like, that journey to success for you. So I definitely want to make a donation.
Okay.
I'll pledge $1,000 towards your campaign.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Thank you. Honestly, like, that means a lot. Honestly, it does.
You're welcome. I mean, you've been doing great work for us for a couple of months now, and basically, I just thought, like, maybe I'll just advance you on what I'd be paying you, so that way you can, like,
makes a lot of sense.
So that way you can, achieve your goal, and you getting support out of us. You're supporting me and what I'm trying to do in my endeavors, and I want you to see that, I value you, and that, that I believe in you as well.
Thank you, honestly. It really does mean a lot. I'm, like, tearing up, honestly. You probably can't see it, but I am, I promise. But, like, it means a lot, just... It's hard to get money, and it's hard to get the support, but when somebody believes in me, that really just means a lot. It's not really about the amount. It's literally the fact that you believe in me.
I'll just give you $100 then.
No, not even then. You were just give me $100. Like, I'm being honest. Like, the fact that you believe in me is already, like, enough. And it means a lot to me.
All right, so let's roll this ball and see what we get next.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
My way, right?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
We got an odd.
Oddball.
All right, so now oddball questions.
Okay.
Hope you're ready for them.
I'm ready for anything. I'm ready to push any challenges.
All right. So, let's see here. Who did you last DM on Instagram? Show us.
On Instagram?
Yeah.
Damn. Who did I last DM on Instagram? I don't remember. Like, that.
We're gonna find out.
I DM my friend Emily.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's my friend that I met in college. When I first went to community college back in Napa when I was living in Vallejo still.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to go to, like, here. So I didn't move out here until I was, like, 21. So, Smash Mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. So, like, she just recently saw them at some fair, I believe, and I actually went with her to see Smash Mouth at the Sac State Fair, like, last year. So, like, I sent her a TFTI because I was like, where am I? How come I'm not there watching it with you? And she was just basically telling me, like, well, you never hit me up whenever you're in the city because that's where she lives, San Francisco. And I'm just like, yeah, you got me there. So, like, it was kind of like that. It was like this little conversation, but she was like, but we'll see them again in SAC. And I'm like, if they're back in SAC. So, yeah, it was basically the last thing I DM'd to, like, somebody.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty safe.
Yeah, it is safe, right? My friend Emily.
All right, now I'm going to do it.
Okay, your turn.
This could be a good one, I could tell. Oh, another odd.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
All right.
So, let's see here. Tell us about your most poppin' tweet.
I was on the way to work, and, me being from the Bay, I always, like, play bass slaps every now and then when I'm driving. So I'm playing a slap called Cupcake No Fillin' by Trunk Boys. And the song goes like this. It goes like, Cupcake no fillin', I ain't got time because I got a lot of women, hey, hey. So that's the song, right? That's mainly how the chorus goes. And I was just, like, thinking about it. I was like, I'm about to tweet the lyrics, but I'm going to make it, like, the way that I perceive it right for myself now. And so, like, let me go look for it real quick. It was like, kind of out of pocket. Cupcake, no filling. I ain't got time because this generation be having some confusing ass views on relationships, and you never know what the other person may actually value because no one knows how to be straight up. Hey, like, I added the A's with it too. And that's what a lot of people were replying with, like, a, and, like, laughs and stuff like that. And I'm just like, damn. It made numbers. See, it made, like, 6,585 likes.
Wow.
And 2,186 retweets.
So you went viral.
For, like, a good second. That's like, this
you
is
got
like a
deep
mini
too.
viral. Yeah, a little deep here.
A little in the feelings.
I was like, it was a little personal, to be honest. It was a little personal, but I guess a lot of people felt it. That's relatable.
So, I mean, like what was behind that, though? So, I mean, like
behind the tweet itself?
Yeah, like what are you feeling?
I mean, like, to be honest, I haven't been in, like, a really serious relationship for, like, 5 years now.
Yeah.
I've been in, like, these little flings. Like, it was never any, like, one-night stands or anything like that. It was just, like, little flings like for the past 5 years that never like came into fruition, and I never knew why. Like what would by my own experiences, it would always be something like this person has a confusing ass view on relationships in general, and this person's not telling me everything. Like they like to lie, you know, something like that. And so I'm just here like, cool, all right then. If that's how it's gonna be, that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And like just recently, I was supposed to be in this relationship. I don't know what to call it, to be honest, but it was something.
You were in a situation.
It was a situation. It was like cool while it lasted, but it wasn't like. It was so confusing, you know, like so confused about how like relationships even work nowadays. I mean, like maybe it's my fault. It could be my fault. It could be other people's fault. Altogether, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I haven't been in a relationship for years, so. Who am I to say that relationships are bad or good nowadays? I haven't been in one.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not judging anybody that, you know, I've had a relationship with, but in all honesty, it's just confusing to me.
Well, I mean, you know, there are trends that, like, we go through, so...
No, yeah, you know, of course, you know, people are growing.
Well, but I mean, like, as in generationally, the trends that we go through. So, I mean, like, I think that the relationships that our parents were inclined to experience are different from
how we
that
are
we're
experiencing
experiencing.
it nowadays.
I mean, even our parents today, like, are experiencing different relationships than they did back then, right?
That's
so,
really
like,
true.
any like divorcees or, you know, when they're entering the dating, like, you know, pool again, they're like, like they're trying to understand like what's going on. So, I mean, I just feel like things have evolved in ways, many ways good, maybe some ways not as great.
Right.
Depends on like, you know, what your deal is.
Right,
But,
no, totally. Like,
but yeah, it can be confusing. I get it.
It is very confusing.
That's why I think like there's so many dating apps too, right? I think that's like the response to the overall confusion when it comes to like, you know, dating.
Because like you got these dating apps that are like kind of meant to be one day only kind of things. And then you got dating apps that are like, let's be real.
Yeah.
You know? That kind of stuff.
But I mean, I think that regardless of whether it's like a one day or like a many day kind of thing, I think just the fact that there are so many options. Is like, I think that's telling us something about like, you know.
Like how it really is.
Yeah, like I think people aren't fulfilled in some type of way and the response is, well, let's try this other type of like dating style and like here's an app for it. And like I think it just kind of like, I mean, there are the big ones that most people use, but still, the fact that like you could like just type in dating in like the app store or whatever, and like come up with like hella options, and I don't know.
So, I mean, like it's cool that exists.
I think it's speaking to something there.
It's speaking to it is, but you know, just I've never really been that kind of person to meet online. You know, just as I said, I don't really like DM people. To like get at them.
Yeah, I can tell. Like I totally thought that last one would have been more juicy.
I know. Like you're ready for like who did
you're talking about like Smash Mouth. Like
I'm talking about Smash Mouth. That's what it was about. It was really about Smash Mouth.
All right, let's do this again.
All right. There we go.
Another odd. Ooh, lucky you. All right, so. Show us the last 5 pictures in your phone.
Dang.
And you gotta show us. Man. Screenshots and all.
So this is the first one. It's
a video.
It's a video of my nieces.
So cute.
They're really cute. They're really adorable. They're literally at my my parents' house right now. Because my sister went on like a trip with her fiance, not husband yet, to Seattle. So that's like the first one. So like my little nieces. This is my friend Ryan. This is the next one. All right, ready?
You got a lot of videos.
This is just like a few like videos. Like it's just like we went swimming yesterday, and so I recorded my friend jumping off a diving board, drinking a Bud Light, and pouring it on his head and tossing it, and then jumping in. So we were just having fun, just doing our own stuff. And like, okay, now this is where it gets a little juicy. It's just some random chick that I thought was pretty fun on the internet, so I saved it onto my phone. Here it is. She's cute. She's really cute. I forgot her Twitter at. It's like her name's like Fair or something like that. She's pretty though. I'm not gonna lie. I got 2 pictures of her.
Yeah.
This one just shows her body. Like I'm being honest.
No head even.
No head even. I saved both the pictures and I was just like, forget it, dude. I'm just gonna keep it. Maybe it'll be my wallpaper. Maybe it won't be. The last one I did was just me taking a picture of the shirt before the interview that I'm wearing right now, and I put it on Twitter, saying that like I'm repping my friend's clothes because he's helping me out, making a shirt for the film. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's a juicy stuff.
Yeah. All right. So I feel like one of the staples of this segment is going to be Kanye West. I mean, he's had a crazy year, and the year's only half done. So what's going on with Kanye? What do you know about him?
Like in all honesty, Kanye comes out of nowhere, and he was actually missing from Twitter for a good minute. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere, he starts tweeting hella stuff, and I got really excited and happy, Kanye's back. He's just tweeting because I love Kanye whenever he talks. He has dragon energy from the way he says. So he got dragon energy, and suddenly out of nowhere, he starts talking about Donald Trump again, wearing a MAGA hat. Mm-hmm. And to me, I was confused as shit. Oh God, here he goes again talking about Donald Trump. Because I actually went to the concert here in Sac where I got canceled not even midway, really in the intro of it.
I was downtown when that happened, and I got caught up in hella traffic from people who were
who probably should have
pissed and leaving.
Well, the thing is I was there with some of my homies who are filming this right now, and there's a lot more than what people say what went down. And everybody just really wants to quote the fact that he was talking about Donald Trump, but no one really talks about how much he was actually against the radio. And what I mean by the radio is the whole mainstream look of Billboard's top, music that's being played. There's not a lot of radio playing some of the best music that is being played, that people hear. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of radio play about it. And we got even Tyler the Creator, who released one of the best albums of last year, who doesn't get any radio play. Yeah. And it's something like that. He was basically saying, radio, fuck you.
Kanye is for sure he's on the edge, right?
Exactly. He's no
about to
what,
lose it.
No, well, I don't even think that. He's always been this.
No, Kanye. I mean, he was College Dropout was such a good album, and
yes,
while he was vocal, Kanye was not how back then. Back then, Kanye is not at all right now Kanye, and Kanye okay, for example, Kanye, the whole Christian angle. Do you think Kanye's a Christian currently?
I think he's a Christian.
You still think so?
Yeah.
I would think that he's not.
I don't think...
And I'm not even, I'm not religious at all. But at the same time, I mean, he was, anytime he could, he was promoting his beliefs through his music while still putting out music that people who weren't even necessarily.
You don't think he does that now? He's The Life of Pablo was very Christian.
Well, I didn't listen to it.
The Life of a very Christian, and he talks about God a lot still in this one too. Every now and then he hits up God, or he not hits up God hey, what's up God, how you doing? But he says something.
Okay, I mean, I'll have to take your word for it because I stopped following Kanye a while back.
The Life of Pablo was very Christian. Very Christian.
I just feel I don't see him representing what I would think Christians would want, somebody so I guess he's still talking about it in his music and his craft, but I don't feel he's really living that life.
Are you talking about let's say Yeezus, when Yeezus came out?
I don't follow Kanye, so
you don't. There's a lot more to it than what you see on the media. I'm pretty sure the media gets everything 90% wrong. So
I mean, I guess it depends on the outlets, but yeah, I mean, I feel the media is just echoing chamber for
everybody just bouncing off of each other.
Well, for what you're putting out there. So I mean, I feel yeah, there is corruption in the media. We talked about how he was anti-radio or whatever. And
right.
Okay, yeah, there's industry control, and therefore then that creates obviously some corruption that is in many cases insurmountable. So for people who are alternative, people who are coming up, or people who just don't buy into it, they don't get promoted or whatever.
Yeah.
So then you have your alternative outlets that where you can publish your your art,
Yeah.
or get your like thoughts out there
Yeah.
through an alternative like forum. So, but anyways, I mean, I think that like, yeah, I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of like many a mainstream thing. So so yeah, I mean, I guess I feel it. And you schooling me on Kanye, I guess I'll have to like like listen to some of his stuff before I like comment on him again. Let's conclude this by talking a little bit more about your film and how the viewers at home can support.
We have a social media for it. It's usually titled Litchfield Court. You find the ad on Twitter, it'll be Litchfield Court. On Instagram, it's Litchfield Court. On Facebook, it's Litchfield Court. You can find it on there. I have my own personal Twitter that also like talks about it every now and then.
Oh yeah, you want to plug your Twitter?
Sure. I mean, it's a little weird.
Cupcake no filling.
Yeah, cupcake no filling Twitter. That's what I tweet about. No, that was like one tweet. Like that was so funny. But yeah, I mean, like my Twitter name is actually a little weird to spell. It's like DAAAYVEHHD.
What does that spell?
David. It's like David.
Oh, okay, we'll link that below.
All right, for sure. Like over here somewhere. Yeah. We also have the crowdfunding site is on Seed and Spark. I guess we can probably cite that too. It's on Seed and Spark, which is like a GoFundMe for filmmakers, like mainly directed toward filmmaking. Since like Kickstarter and like Indiegogo is like more like anything, like anything. But Seed and Spark's more like, hey, we make films here. This guy's a filmmaker from the Bay Area, Vallejo. Let's go support him.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So, we can like have the link below, and usually like my goal is supposed to be 9,500. All I gotta do is make 80% of that though. So if I at least have about 7,400, I believe, I'll be greenlit and I'll be able to get the money that is offered to me from the site.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's cool. All right. So after Litchfield, what else is on the agenda for Doria?
I want to make more things. Like I have so many ideas in my head. I've been wanting to direct and shoot a music video for a while. I know my friends back at home. I talked about Justin Corey. He was like in my documentary. He's my composer for Litchfield Court too. He's actually pretty good. He's like a groovy like music artist in some ways. He also raps. Same with Ryan. Ryan and Justin actually were my composers for Daytime. And I've always wanted to work with them and actually making a music video or something like that. So, but mainly after Litchfield Court, I just want to graduate from school. I want to be able to just mainly work on the things I want to work on.
Okay.
Maybe one day I'll like head over to the Southern California where all the
industry stuff's happening.
Yeah, and where everything is basically for the things that I want to go for.
Yeah, San Fernando Valley.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because you know what happened in San Fernando Valley. That's what I want to do. Best shots ever I've seen of like people, very intimate. Things happening to people.
All right, guys. So that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I enjoyed speaking with you, and thanks for being a part of this project. Thanks for being on the team.
Thank you for having me.
And I really look forward to seeing what you come up with. So especially for your up and coming film, Litchfield, which shoots in a few months from now, right?
Yeah, in August, mid to late August, will be starting and finished.
All right. So I know that you'll be able to achieve your goal. Now you have to be out there like grinding and making it happen, but it's happening. So
get in there.
Yeah. So all right.
Crunch time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Doria.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you later. Yay, we recorded some shit.